Dear chosen one, if you've ever felt like love keeps slipping through your fingers, like it only brings more confusion than comfort, you're not alone. This message is for the ones who feel too much, who love deeply, and yet often feel like they're walking through life alone. It's not because you're broken, and it's definitely not because you're unworthy. In fact, it might be the opposite. You're chosen. And being chosen comes with a weight that most people don't talk about. One of those heavy truths is this: the deeper your purpose, the more your path will ask you to walk alone, especially when it comes to love. It's not that you don't deserve connection. You do. Your heart is big enough to hold oceans. But the truth is, your life has a mission. And sometimes that mission requires solitude. It needs silence. It calls for clarity. Love, while beautiful, can become a distraction when it's not aligned with who you are becoming. You're not here to live an ordinary life. You're here to grow, to heal, to break patterns that have existed for generations. That kind of purpose can't always be shared, and it definitely can't be rushed. You've probably noticed it already, how you don't quite fit in, how you crave something deeper than small talk, more honest than surface level love. You want real connection, a love that feels like peace, not chaos, a bond that supports your spirit, not one that drains your energy. But for people like you, the ones who are growing, healing, and rising, it's rare to find that kind of love early on. Why? Because you have to become it first. You have to become the safe space you've been looking for in others. You have to be your own soft place to land. This journey is tough because it teaches you to say no to what almost feels right. It teaches you to walk away from people who can't meet you where you are. And that hurts. Sometimes it hurts more than staying would. But deep down, you know the truth. Staying with someone who doesn't understand your soul will only pull you further from your purpose. It will cloud your mind, distract your heart, and keep you stuck in cycles you've already outgrown. Some people are drawn to your light. They see your calm, your wisdom, your strength, and they want to be near it. But they don't always understand what it took for you to get here. They don't see the nights you cried yourself to sleep, the silence you sat in, the growth that nearly broke you. They just see the glow. And while some will honor it, many will only try to take from it. Not because they're evil, but because they haven't done their own healing. And when unhealed people touch healed energy, it often makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of what they've been avoiding. You might find yourself constantly explaining your heart, explaining why you need time alone, why you protect your peace so fiercely, why you're not interested in shallow connections or fast love. And yet, despite your honesty, people still don't get it. They think you're distant, cold, too intense, too deep, too sensitive. But you're not too much. You're just on a path they can't see. You feel things more deeply. You notice the energy in a room before anyone speaks. You can sense when someone's lying to themselves. And that sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a gift. Still, it can be exhausting. Being the one who's always understanding, always holding space, always giving. You begin to realize that your energy is sacred, that not everyone deserves access to your heart, your time, or your presence. You start setting boundaries, not out of fear, but out of love for yourself. You stop over-explaining. You stop chasing. You stop pouring into people who only take. You learn, slowly, to protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. And here's another hard truth. You trigger people just by being you. Your presence challenges others. Your growth shines a light on their stagnancy. Your clarity reveals their confusion. You don't even have to say much. Just existing as your true self can make people feel things they've buried for years. They may feel inspired by you at first, But then the discomfort sets in, and instead of facing their own pain, they may turn on you. They may criticize, distance themselves, or lash out. Not because you did something wrong, but because your light became too bright for the darkness they're still sitting in. You may start to question yourself. You may wonder why love feels so distant, why people leave, why it feels like you're always the one who sees things clearly, but also the one who ends up alone. But let me remind you of this. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not unlovable. You are just not meant to settle for half-hearted love. You are not here to be someone's emotional bandage. You're not here to dim your light just to make others comfortable. The kind of love you crave, the deep, soul-connecting, peaceful love, takes time. It can't be forced. It doesn't show up just because you're tired of waiting. It comes when you've learned to love yourself enough to walk away from what isn't meant for you. It comes when you've healed enough to not be triggered by someone else's wounds. It comes when you've become so full on your own that a relationship becomes a choice, not a need. Until then, healing has to come first. Real healing. Not the kind where you distract yourself with people or run from your pain, but the kind where you sit with your emotions, where you cry it out, where you break and then rebuild, where you face every shadow and learn to love yourself through it all. It's messy, it's lonely, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because if you don't heal, you'll keep attracting people who mirror your wounds instead of your growth. Healing is not about perfection. It's about wholeness. It's about becoming the kind of person who no longer abandons themselves just to feel loved. It's about learning to stay with yourself even when it hurts. It's about building a life so full of peace, purpose, and joy that love becomes a beautiful bonus, not a bandage. And when that love does show up, and it'll feel different. It won't be loud or confusing. It won't make you question your worth. It won't drain you or pull you off your path. It will feel like coming home, like quiet support, like understanding without needing to explain. It'll feel like someone finally sees you, all of you, and meets you with love, not fear. But until that day comes, walk your path with your head high. Trust your journey. Honor your growth. Protect your energy. You are not alone. You are just walking ahead. And though the road may be quiet now, the peace you're building will one day speak louder than any love that tried to break you. So if your heart is tired, your spirit feels heavy, and you've been wondering why love seems just out of reach, this is your sign. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Healing, becoming, awakening. The right people will find you when you're fully yourself. Until then, keep rising. If this message spoke to you, let it sink in. Don't scroll past it. Type 1111 in the comments if you're claiming this as your confirmation. You're not just waiting for love. You're preparing for something sacred. And that matters. Sometimes, love feels like a foreign language to you. While others seem perfectly fine with surface-level connections or casual relationships, you've always known in your heart that you were made for something deeper. You look around and see people satisfied with convenience, with affection that fades, and with love that feels more like a transaction than a bond. But that's never been enough for you. It's not because you're cold or distant. It's because you remember, deep down in your soul, what real love is supposed to feel like. You carry an ancient knowing. You want something timeless. A connection that sees you, truly sees you, not just your smile or your body, but your spirit. And that kind of love is rare in this world. The kind you want doesn't rely on appearances, likes, texts, or roles. It goes far beyond all that. What you seek is the kind of love that reaches across lifetimes. a love that recognizes your soul like an old friend finally coming home. So, when people offer you something shallow, you naturally pull away. Not because you're afraid, but because you know better. You've tasted something more, even if only in dreams or memories. You know what it means to feel truly seen and deeply cherished, and until that happens, you'd rather be alone than pretend. People might not understand that. They might think you're too picky or too closed off, but you're not waiting for some fairy tale or perfect romance. You're waiting for truth, for sacred union, for someone whose soul speaks the same language as yours. And until that shows up, you protect your energy. You don't give your heart away to people who haven't earned it. Your solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity. It's a statement that says, I will not settle. I know what I'm worth. And here's something else that's important to remember. The times your heart broke, the relationships that almost worked but didn't, the people who came and went, they weren't failures. They were lessons. They were protection. The universe has been guiding you away from anything that would have dimmed your light or distracted you from your path. It may have hurt at the time, but every loss was really a redirection. You're not here to accept love that's lukewarm or half awake. You're here to build something strong, something sacred. That takes time. That takes preparation. And most of all, it takes patience. You've probably felt lonely at times, like you're standing in a world that doesn't quite understand your heart. But that space around you, that quiet, is not a punishment. It's your sacred ground. It's where your spirit is being shaped, strengthened, and prepared. You're not just someone who wants love. You're someone who will use love as a force of healing. And to do that, you need someone who doesn't just desire you, but honors your purpose. Someone who walks beside you, not ahead or behind. Someone who gets it. This path you're on, it's not easy. It was never meant to be. You were never called to live a simple, comfortable life. You were called to break patterns, to stop cycles, to face the pain others avoid. Your mission is deep. You're doing spiritual work that most people can't even see. You carry a quiet fire inside you, a fire that transforms, that heals, that burns away lies and illusions. That's powerful, but it can also be lonely. Because while others are building lives based on safety and approval, you're being asked to walk a road that demands courage. You often feel like an outsider, even in rooms where people care about you. Not because you don't belong, but because your spirit is tuned into something different. People admire your strength from a distance, but very few truly understand the weight it carries. They love the idea of your power, but they don't always know how to stand beside it. And so, love, real love, can feel even further away. Because unless two people are both awake, both doing the work, love can quickly turn into another burden. Another place where you have to shrink to fit. But you won't do that. You can't. Your soul won't let you. You're being called to something greater. That's why solitude has become your teacher. You've learned to find strength in stillness, wisdom in silence. Not because you don't want love, but because you know that the kind of love you're made for demands truth, not convenience. You weren't born for the kind of romance the world celebrates, the kind with perfect pictures and carefully edited lives. That's not you. You're here to start a revolution. You're here to remind people what real love feels like. Love that heals. Love that awakens. Love that liberates. You weren't sent to Earth just to fit in, play a role, and disappear. Your life is a message. Your love is a message. You came here to shake things up, to bring people back to their soul, to remind them who they really are. Romance may come. It might even sweep you off your feet. But it won't last unless you first build your foundation. Unless your soul is steady, your heart is whole, and your path is clear. That's why things haven't worked out before. It wasn't bad luck. It was divine timing. The universe has been making sure you don't get sidetracked, because you've got work to do. You might meet people who seem right for a moment, but they won't stay unless they're meant to walk this path with you. And that's okay. You're not here to collect lovers. You're here to fulfill a mission. You are whole on your own. You are sacred on your own. And when the time is right, love will come, not to complete you, but to walk beside you as an equal. Someone who gets it. Someone who doesn't just see your life, but carries their own. You've always felt different. Even in places where you were accepted, you still felt like something didn't quite fit. You laughed. You played along. But deep down, a quiet voice whispered, "I'm not like them." And that voice wasn't wrong. You love differently. You feel things others don't. You see beyond the surface. You don't just hear words, you feel energy. You sense pain people try to hide. You see beauty where others don't look. That's why shallow relationships make you feel empty. That's why you crave something real. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're just remembering who you really are. And the kind of love you remember, the kind your soul aches for, isn't common. It's powerful. It's ancient. It's the kind of love that changes people, that heals generations. That kind of love can't be rushed. It can't be faked. And it certainly can't be found by lowering your standards. It's rare because you are rare. Your heart isn't just looking for a partner. It's looking for a mirror. For someone who sees you, not as a role to play, but as a soul to meet. Someone who recognizes your light and wants to grow beside it. You've been sent here to light the way. And while that can feel lonely, you're never truly alone. Your ancestors walk with you. Your spirit guides protect you. And your purpose holds you. One day, someone will find you. Not because you went searching or settled, but because they rose to meet you. They'll feel familiar, like coming home. They won't be scared of your death. They'll crave it. They'll honor it. And when that happens, you'll realize every step of your journey, the solitude, the heartbreaks, the silence, was leading you to this moment. Until then, trust yourself. Trust your path. Keep loving with your whole heart, even when it feels hard. Because you're not just here to love. You're here to remind the world what love really is.